If you've ever been on a plane, then you probably know that there are lots of ways to combat boredom. You could play some games, listen to music. You may have even used the time to make some progress on that geometry dash part in your level that you've always been putting off. But have you ever tried to build an entire level on a 2-hour plane flight? Well, I challenged myself to do just that. This is how it went. So the first step was obviously finding a good song. I wanted to use a song by an artist who has lots of chill songs, called A Ghost in My Room, and whose song I've already used in one of my levels, A Stroll at Midnight. And I found this song titled Peppermint, which really fit the vibe that I was trying to create. I wanted my level to start in a field, nature-based, and slowly it would start to ascend. You would see clouds. Then when the drop hit, it would explode with lots of colors and effects. A bit ambitious for 2 hours. It was only once I had built this tree over here that I realized maybe I should be recording this so I could, make this video. That's why you can see that the tree has been already built. I had already made the movements of the leaves and also an X offset trigger so that it starts a bit late. You'll see what I'm trying to do here for the intro. Got quite a cool idea. Later I changed the offset for the background a bit and also changed the color of the sky because it looked better that way. Then I got started with making the second layer of the background. We're not getting sloppy here, we want to make a good level. Even though we only have 2 hours, we're gonna do our best. As I started with the mountains, it was at this moment that this happened. This is the sound of the plane taking off, which meant that my level building journey through the air had begun. As you can see, I'm kind of making just random squares here, but the trick is that if you layer them well, you can actually make something that looks kind of cool. Look at this beautiful mountain. It was time for my first test run, and as expected, well, stuff went. Bruh. I wanted to make it so that at the beginning, it's a still scene, so everything is locked to the X of the player, and then as soon as the melody comes in, the level actually starts, and everything starts moving. So I fixed some stuff, and then I started on the middle ground. Now for that, I made this sort of texture, I don't know what to call it, this base, on top of which I added some grass blades, make it look, I don't know, more interesting. And since it was working fine, then I added another ground because, well, why not? I have infinite time, right? Then I started the making of this wonderful log. In retrospect, I feel I may have spent a little too much on making this log look good and too little on actually making the level, but that's okay, it was worth it in the end. Now for some rain, I have this really cool preset that I always use when I'm making rain. I quickly discovered that I was on my iPad and I don't have any of my presets there. So, well, time to make the rain preset again. Luckily, I did have Mega Hack Mobile installed on the iPad, so at least I could scale hack it, so it wasn't that big of a trouble. Still, I wasted valuable time. It was time for the second test run, and what's this? There's no rain, where did it go? So GD does this thing where if an object is so big that its center is actually off screen, then it doesn't load in the object at all, which is kind of stupid because stuff just doesn't appear if it's a little bit off screen. After a quick fix, I did another test run and yes, there was rain. Let's go. I had tried to delay it as much as I could, but there was no putting it off for longer. It was time for the block design, and with it, the gameplay. It isn't that I'm bad at making gameplay, it's just that it takes me a bit too long because I'm always worrying about whether it would play good, whether it's readable and all that. I just don't really like making gameplay. Also, I'm usually super lazy at making the block design. So this is what I came up with. I added the little hitbox, then put it in group 5 so that it follows the player in the intro. And then I made a really big fat arrow. I know a lot of people are not really fans of indicators, but I always like to have indicators even if the level is really super easy. I think it's just, if you can have indicators, why not put them? They fill up space and they help the player. So I don't know, I'm just really pro indicators in that sense. Now comes the somewhat boring part, which is the structuring. I continued structuring most of the part, which was sometimes very confusing because over there the gameplay is a bit offset because of the intro I made, but I managed.
Maybe if you show them all your hand, you can knot in the creases, maybe you can take it back and forth.
I also added more trees because trees are good for the environment, and these transparent gears, which really, they go well with anything. You can put them anywhere, they will always make sense. I wanted them to sort of float, but the thing was that I had my floating spawn loop preset also in my PC, so I had to remake it trigger by hand once more. With that I kept on structuring, and this is when I hit my first lack of ideas because I didn't really know what else to make as gameplay. I had a lack of ideas, I was bored of the part, I wanted to get to the drop, so I just copy pasted everything. Literally, I copy pasted entire parts sometimes. But that's okay because, you know, almost gonna know. Before finishing the part, I added some more trees and some saws and the fade in with a black transition, and so far this is what I had. Not too bad if I do say so myself. For the next part I wanted to make something shimmery with, you know, these blocks. I didn't really know how to go about this, so I just started experimenting. I made a spawn loop to make these blocks shimmer really quickly, really fast pulses, and then I went in with a glow. Turns out it's awfully hard to make glow if the background is already bright, but you know, I did what I could. Okay. By now the captain had said that we had the wind in our favor and so would reach our destination sooner than expected, which brought out a cheer from the people on the plane, but from me it was awfully bad news because, you know, I had less time to complete the level. I made some borders of cloud for ground spikes that come into the part as you enter it. I decided to keep the background the same, not just because I had half an hour left maybe, but because the song doesn't actually progress that much, it just adds another layer of instrumentation, so I just kept the background as it was. I added some default saws because I like using them. The part was starting to look a bit like layout, and you know, I panicked. This was not a 2-hour layout challenge, this was a 2-hour entire level challenge. I had to do better than that. So I started adding more stuff, like these lines, and also a blending screen to make it look more shimmery and bright. At this point, we started the landing phase, and it was starting to take a toll on my ears, literally so much that I couldn't even hear the engine any longer, but still I knew I had to keep building, otherwise I wasn't going to finish this in time. I continued to structure, hoping to finish at least this part. Even if I couldn't get to the drop, I just wanted to finish what I had, but time was almost up. I made another test, and do you see something strange with these slopes? You don't? Well, I did. I had committed the worst atrocity imaginable. See this? Maybe it will help you if I put the hitboxes on. As I suspected, most of the slopes had inverted hitboxes, which no way I was allowing inverted hitboxes in my level, even if it was a challenge. I had to fix them. I later realized that I had no pulses in the level at all, so I added some pulses at least in this part. Some, you know, not very noticeable, just small pulses. I wanted to do so many other things. I wanted to add some air deco, I wanted to add some particles in the first part, I wanted to make a drop in the sky, I wanted some clouds, but the plane had already landed. I went to upload the level and then I realized that airplane mode was on, so yeah. You can see it's just under 30 seconds long. But hey, I'm no Woolsey. I can't make an extreme demon in 1 hour. I can't do that. But keep in mind that I made it with a 4/3 tablet with no build edit on an airplane. so I think that for that it's pretty decent. This video has been in the works for quite a while, and it's a bit of an experiment. So if you would like to see me continue the level in future, please like and subscribe, that would be pretty cool of you. So without further ado, here's the final result.